If Trump is arrested, how do you think his supporters will react? Story 1, it's not the arrest, it's the acquittal. Make no mistake, he's already beaten this. Literally, he beat these same charges federally. The witnesses are terrible, and there's no real case here. When Trump is acquitted, everyone will feel that he was right about everything else he says. That's when this thing goes full game changer. See, his campaign sucks. He's all talk about the past and not really picking up any steam. This will be a shot of adrenaline in the campaign. I'm not nor have ever been a Trumper. I'm one of those rational people that doesn't want to be in your clubs. So take my observation as just that. Story 2, 1 why ago. I think this is going to put more people in his supporters' camp. This is an extreme waste of time and energy when there are one critical issues happening. We are on the verge of a banking collapse. We are supporting a foreign war against Russia. Filed under who cares. We are arresting a former president for paying hush money to a mistress. We also have a former president who took advantage of one of his young female staff members. A lot of Republicans want Trump to disappear. I do not want Trump to run for president. If we waste time and resources indicting him for this, we are proving his followers correct in that the current administration is misguided in what the actual problems of our country are. I'm sure I'll get downvoted to infinity even though I've said nothing irrational. I want Trump to disappear. This is going to put fuel on his fire. If I thought Trump were a genius, I'd actually say that this is all his own doing to garner sympathy. Since he's a moron, I don't think he's behind this. Story 3, the general take I've seen with this authoritarian wannabe is that the followers take an attack/insult/argument against the leader as the same personally against themselves. The worst of the bunch, the ones who've been screaming about Obama's birth certificate, Hillary's email, and Hunter's laptop? They're going to be real annoying on social media and may cause a few physical altercations at Walmart. Most of his followers will keep quiet about it and try to pretend they didn't know he was doing anything wrong. Any attempt to talk about it will be met with, "Hey, wow, the walls are doing a great job holding up the ceiling." Levels of topic-changing tactics. The last few will admit they picked the wrong team, but anyone who hasn't done that yet isn't likely to do so now and will probably amount to about 7 people total. Story 4, I think there will be 4 kinds of responses. Some will move on. They will claim that they always thought Trump was done anyway and they now actually support DeSantis, or someone else. Some will complain online, but won't do anything else. These people will have a lot of scathing things to say about everyone involved with the arrest, celebrating the arrest, or leaving Trump due to the arrest. They might even post some threatening statements. However, their fury will be confined to the keyboard, as actually going out might put them in legal jeopardy, and they can't have that. Some will protest peacefully. These people will march with signs demanding that Trump be freed, all charges be dropped, and perhaps have Trump be reinstated as president for his troubles. This will be a small group, but will be pointed to by Republicans as proof that the next group doesn't represent them. Some will be violent. You'll have people trying to open fire on FBI offices, despite the fact that it isn't the FBI arresting Trump yet. You'll have Trump supporters going to NYC and trying to break into government buildings. You might even have some try for January 6 Part 2. All of these will fail, they will be arrested, and Group 2 will insist that they were peaceful like Group 3 despite all the proof of violence. This group will head to prison quickly. Story 5, unfortunately, I think there will be some isolated attempts at terrorism. I am sure that judges and their families and any grand jury members or anyone part of legal team will get death threats. These are the same people who shot up a power station because of drag shows. So they can be unhinged. My only hope is that part of the reason it has taken so long for him to be at this point is because they have been taking as many security precautions as possible. We know how this plays out, the type of harassment these people can inflict: poll workers, sexual assault survivors, Democrat politicians, etc. We know how powerful his base can be because of 1/6, but I think the way a lot of that has played out, there might be more people willing to step back. A lot of people were tracked down and arrested. Story 6, I saw something on Twitter saying that if Trump is arrested, his supporters are withdrawing all their money from banks, checking, savings, retirement, etc., in an attempt to make the financial system collapse as punishment for arresting Trump. I doubt more than a few nut jobs will go through with doing it, but I am curious if something like that would actually cause a collapse, assuming all his supporters did it. I also saw someone calling for them to arm themselves and have a repeat of January 6th, but with guns this time. I doubt this will happen either, but it'd probably be way worse, so yeah, maybe one of those two. But I'd say the most likely thing is they'll just be bitching and whining all over social media about it, and that's it. Story 7. Of all the corrupt politicians in all the land, they are going after the one who is hated by both parties' leaders, and if you think for even a second the Republican powers that be actually like Trump, it what to tell you. They are going after the one who basically bucked the system and did his own thing, for better or worse. So basically them going after Trump is a warning to any and all people who might be thinking of going into politics. You buck the system and the parties will come after you. 'Cause it's a small club, and unless you follow its rules enough to its liking, you'll find out you ain't in it. And yes, I'm sure Trump has done something illegal. Hell, I'd bet money you couldn't find 10 politicians in DC who hadn't done something illegal. But Trump committed the illegal act of not listening to the powers that be. And he got elected doing it. That's something neither party can tolerate, under any circumstance. So what's going to happen? There will be totally spontaneous protests featuring the best and brightest of supporters on both sides acting like the most reasonable and responsible adults, and Trump will be found guilty of something and there will be an attempt to prevent him from running ever again. Story 8. They will probably hop in their F-150s, get all 6 of their friends together, and start circling state capitals, honking their horns and waving Trump flags, tying up traffic for days on end and just being a general nuisance to everyone they encounter. Then they'll spend a month or two complaining about gas prices and making meme stickers to put on gas pumps. Then they'll waste a lot of money on Trump merch and "Let's go branded" attire. Then they'll be edgelords and wear Trump and LGBT attire in public but act awkwardly and sheepish if someone calls them out about it. Then they'll complain about actual history being taught in public schools and push for more privatization of schools. Then they'll worry about what tools people are hiding in their pants. Then they'll try to get rid of some books that encourage people to think for themselves or that help people with identity issues cope. Then they'll strip rights from women. Then they'll make it easier to get guns. Then they'll ask to speak to all the managers. Then they'll form little irrelevant gangs that cosplay as militant groups. Then they'll find something else to whine about. Oh wait, this has all already happened. Well, just count on more of the same info.